to show you guys a simple look that you can do with any palette, but that will be just like very like still like classy and elegant, without like being like, oh, I can't do that look. Okay, start off with the NYX Bear With Me concealer. Get on the back of my hand, and I try to just do a little bit in this. Okay, and then I just get like a brush that's like this. Okay, so then I take it on the back of my hand and I kind of take like a contour looking concealer brush, and then I just kind of rub it all in. And then I get it. I have to look in my other mirror, but then I get it and then I just pat it down on both eyelids, and that will definitely be enough to be able to cover both eyes and then not have like any excess product just leaking all over your eyes and everything. But that just helps be able to like set every. This is an old palette, but it still does really good. I know we're supposed to not use expired stuff. I've not had a problem yet, so hopefully that it doesn't have a problem yet. Okay, so taking like smaller detailed brushes so that way you can have more control. And then I'm dipping it into the black and I'm just barely dipping it. And then you can kind of like just shake it if you think that's too much, but I'm just going to use the mirror that comes in here so that way I can angle it down, and then I pull it from the corner, like the little V area, and then pull it to the center, and then I'm just going to continue to bring it a little bit up. I don't want this black to be super heavy. It's more of a shadow for just like kind of getting that crease moment. So I don't want it to like be super pigment and everything. You'll take a smaller, fluffier brush that's more like dispersed or diffused, however you say, and then you'll take the medium color. I'm gonna say medium color in this sense, like for me it's a brown. You could also do this with colors if you want to do it. And then you'll just swirl it around until you feel like it's picked up enough. And then again, I just do the shaking method because it gets off any of like the flyaways on the tip of the brush, but it still keeps the product inside the brush. And then again, I'm like midway with this because I do want more pigment, but not as like super light. So I'm kind of like, I'm kind of like midway. So I'm not all the way at the tip, but I'm not all the way at that middle stage either. And then again, the same method. And then your palette, and then you angle it down so that way you can have your eyes kind of like tilted back so you can see everything. And it keeps all like, if you have, like if I do this, my regular eyelids kind of sit on top of my eyelids, so I guess like I have like medium hooded eyes. But so I kind of like to have everything pulled back, and then I just start round circles, and then again you're still in the middle. And then just round circles all the way up into right here. So you'll go from here to right on the bridge of your nose, and then then you can pull back so you can have less pigment, and then you'll slightly blend that into the top of like this brow area. That will help for contouring later. And then if you feel like you at this point where you're like, okay, it's good enough, then you can go all the way out on the edge of the brush, and then just start like blurring, basically. I say flaring, but blurring out the edges that you have of that one shadow. I've been practicing on trying to blur out the edges. I was told once that I was too harsh on the edges, so I've been practicing on how to blur out the edges. And this little trick has like helped me. Okay, and then I also have found out you can still take that same brush and or a fluffier brush. It just depends on your thing. I like to go with the fluffier brush when it's like more towards like here in your contour and everything. But I'm also learning that you could just get a color switch for that same brush we just went with, that brown medium shade, and you can just use your color switch to like make sure anything is off, or everything is off, and then you'll go in with the lighter shade, brown or whatever color you're playing with, and you'll still do that same method where you're like dipping into everything and swirling. I still do the shaky method, and then I just hold it on the lighter part, and then you have more control and you can place it exactly where you need to, and then that way you can get more of a blown out effect. and then it makes everything look blended, smooth, and you're not so heavily, because you don't, like, I used to think you have to have everything so heavy and so bold, and I still do like doing bold stuff, but as I have been playing around, like trying to figure out like how to go a little bit light-handed with things, and that this method has worked a lot. Another trick, that if you feel like this area right here is now creasing just a little bit, maybe we overdone it, or maybe just in general the product has settled so now it's kind of creasing, especially like I have hooded eyes, so that does sometimes happen. I'll just go back and take what I was using for that concealer, and then I'll just lay it down again, and then just kind of like pat everything back out to smooth all that edges, and then just make sure that I'm using like a light hand, because you don't want to like jab it, you still want that product to be there, so just use a very light hand and then just pat it back down. And with our flat brush, and then take that cream color, had to make sure the brown wasn't mixed in there, but take the cream color, and then on both sides of the brush, just kind of make sure you got it on there, tap it out. Okay, so then you can just kind of like tap it out a little bit. I think I'm moving too fast for the camera. I don't know what's going on. But, and then just lay it in this little area, the inner corner of your eyelids. I'm like, this little area. And then you can flip your brush and then kind of carve out the cut crease area without having to go back and do the concealer. And it's fine if you want to do that, because there's still looks that I will do that for, but for getting the more natural but easier way. And by the way, this is actually a really quick process. Like, this whole eyeshadow look takes me less than 5 minutes to do it. I've gotten accustomed to like just knowing how to do that, but I'm slowing everything down for you guys, so it normally only takes about 5 minutes. So this is a really easy look that you can get out the door really quickly. I do this in the car all the time whenever I'm wanting like a really quick, fun, cute look, and not having to overthink about it. So this video probably will be like a 10 or 15 minute video explaining how to do this, but as far as when I'm actually putting this in process, it actually is 5 minutes or less. But controlling all your brushes and all that, and the length and the where you hold them and all that can help you a lot. And like, depending on if you shake it out or if you tap it, because when you tap in brushes, a lot of times you're tapping so much of that product out, you're not getting the results you want. So I go and shake it, and if I need to, I'll hit my thumb with it, so that way it's giving a little bit extra shake out. If like I pick up a color, like blues or whatever, then I'll go ahead and like kind of like tap it out here, because I still want the product to be inside the actual brush. I just don't want it to be so much as soon as I like pick up a color and I go to like place it on my eyes. I don't want it to be like so much boldness sometimes. So to make it even more like a step further, to make it like more of like a fun moment, because I know sometimes just wearing neutrals like this is cute, but it's not always fun. I go ahead and take this really pretty, it's like a mix between brown and silver, and I just take that on my finger, so it's like that, and then I will go right on the edge of this like shadowing area, and I will just tap it lightly, not hard. You want to like lightly press, but and then I will go all the way up here, and then I stop right there, and then I take my middle finger, sorry for that, but I take my middle finger and then just start to blur it out, and pat it on both directions, so that way I'm still bringing that really pretty shadow out, but I'm not having it just like being one spot where you're just seeing it, but it start to kind of dissipate throughout the rest of the look, so it's not super duper heavy, and you can still get that really pretty shimmer, and whenever like the lights hit it and everything, it still looks really pretty, but it's not overpowering. 1, 2. Okay, so we got it, and then we shake it, and then this will be the underneath of the eyes, so that way I'm not doing super dark, and then I just go like middle right here, just where your pupil hits, and then I'll go a little bit back into blending it out, because when we put the eyeliner down, it will kind of like help gradient that eyeliner moment. Okay, so now taking the color switch, making sure you're getting off that black, And then we're gonna go back in with the medium color. Again, you can do this with any color you want to. I'm just doing it with neutrals, but now we're gonna pull that one all the way up to right here. Like, okay, but now the edges again are kind of harsh. What is going on? Get your color switch, get your other brush that we did for that medium brown color, or however you're doing it. Go back into the lighter color and then get this right here. Sorry, I'm trying to show you guys at the same time. Okay, and then do the little shake, and then you pull your mirror up and then look at your eyes, and then I'm gonna scoot you back so you can kind of see, but yeah, you pull the mirror back, look at your eyes, and then start to go in the middle-ish a little bit, like how we had a minute ago, and then just have everything start to blend out and blur, and that way you're working on blurring out the edges again, so, or softening the edges, or however you explain that to yourself. Okay, so I wanted to show you the difference between what the wing looks like and how much of a difference it does make to the look. So okay, so now that we have both wings, so that's what it looks like with both wings, and then I'll go ahead and put a brown mascara under here because it just makes this whole look pop more. It's the difference between brown, no brown, slash no mascara on that side, but it's harder for me to show you on the right side because I keep trying to revert to the mirror, so I figured if I just zoom in and then do it this side, then maybe you can see, because the way the mirror is placed at this level where the gimbal is placed, maybe I can, because I have it on a little tripod, so anyways, sorry for that, but oh, I was like, I'm trying to show you, but at the same time, I'm having trouble like getting the right angle. And I love this mascara. So the black one that I use actually two different ones now. I used to be only one of them, but now I use two different ones. So it's How to Be a Redhead, Finally Have Lashes. It's faded off. I need to get a new one. But this is their Hourglass mascara wand, and it is super duper pretty. And it's so good. And then I also pair it with the new mascara that I recently got and reviewed on my TikTok. All of these have like lip stuff and all that. I just put it in a big, it's a How to Be a Redhead bag, and then just shove everything in there. It's my little to-go bag. But this is, I think, My Flow, I think is what it's actually pronounced as. And then this has just come off the TikTok thing. But it is this type of wand, and it does pretty well as well. So that just gives like an extra separation and an extra boost. But I really love that Hourglass one to put on first and coat everything. And this is also How to Be a Redhead, Finally Have Lashes, but this is in the Perfectly Brown. That's what I used for the bottom of my lashes. But I can still have my eyes and everything pop and be like super pretty. And then like if you want to, you can go even a step further, because my face is red just from being a redhead, I guess. But you can go even a step further, go ahead and prep your face and all that, and then like put on your powders and everything, and then look even extra fancier. So okay, so I did do a full video on how to do the face where it's not super overpowering and cakey, but you can still see like the textures through and everything, so that way you don't have to go like too heavy on everything. But yeah, this is the makeup completed when you do a fuller face and everything. So